Imagine a promise made decades ago, not of power or wealth, but of a profound spiritual return. A promise to a father, to a family, to a community, to a way of life once left behind. What would it take for an enlightened master, revered across lands, to fulfill such a promise? Would he return as a king, a conqueror, or something far more revolutionary? Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey with the Buddha, as he honors a deeply personal commitment. This is a story of homecoming, not to a palace, but to the very heart of acceptance and transformation. It's a narrative that challenges our deepest perceptions of status, power, and what true leadership truly entails. We will witness how a simple act of humility can shatter misconceptions, and how boundless compassion can tame even the fiercest of hearts. Prepare to be inspired, to question your own definitions of success, and to discover the quiet power of a mind unburdened by worldly expectations. The return to Magadha, honoring the vow and spreading the Dhamma. The Buddha, having achieved supreme enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, knew his profound realization was not for him alone. His life's purpose was now to share the Dhamma, the universal law of truth he had discovered, with all sentient beings. His reputation as the Awakened One spread far and wide, attracting disciples and lay followers from all walks of life. Among the kings who recognized his wisdom was King Bimbisara of Magadha. The Buddha had made a promise to King Bimbisara earlier in his journey, a promise to return and teach in his capital, Rajagaha. As the wheel of the Dhamma continued to turn, the time came for that promise to be fulfilled. It is time to meet the king of Magadha. The Buddha declared to his growing retinue of disciples, "Let us go to his capital, Rajagaha." And so, the Buddha, accompanied by his Sangha, arrived in Rajagaha, choosing to stay on a serene hill called Vulture's Peak, a place conducive to meditation and spiritual discourse. Word of his arrival quickly reached the palace. "Oh, the Buddha has come to our capital," King Bimbisara exclaimed, his heart filled with joy and reverence. "Let me go and hear his teachings." King Bimbisara, already drawn to the Buddha's profound wisdom, frequently visited Vulture's Peak. He sat quietly, absorbing the Dhamma, allowing the teachings to permeate his being. Through these regular interactions, King Bimbisara became a devout follower, his mind gradually opening to the truths of impermanence, suffering, and liberation. As days turned into weeks, the number of the Buddha's followers in Magadha grew exponentially, their devotion deepening with each discourse. The Dhamma, like a gentle rain, nourished countless hearts, transforming lives and perspectives. The impact of the Buddha's presence in Rajagaha was undeniable, establishing a thriving spiritual community. Buddhist insight. This segment highlights the Buddha's commitment to fulfilling his promises and his method of establishing the Dhamma. His journey to Rajagaha demonstrates right action, samma kamanta, and right livelihood, samma ajiva, by accepting patronage from a king, yet remaining unattached to worldly comforts. King Bimbisara's earnestness reflects the faith, saddha, that is often the first step on the spiritual path. The rapid growth of the Sangha in Magadha shows the power of the Dhamma when presented by an enlightened being, inspiring genuine transformation in those who listen with an open mind. This expansion of the Sangha is crucial for the spread and preservation of the Buddha's teachings. The homecoming. Perceptions challenged and the king's transformation. Despite the flourishing of the Dhamma in Magadha, the Buddha carried a personal commitment. "It has been a long time since I left Kapilavastu," he reflected, his mind returning to his childhood home. "I promised myself that I would return after finding the solution to suffering. Now, it is time. I need to visit my father, King Suddhodana, and my family." With his disciples, the Buddha began the long, mindful walk towards his childhood home. News of his impending arrival preceded him. "Do you hear, minister? Our Prince Siddhartha, who has become the Buddha, is about to visit our kingdom." The king's minister exclaimed, overjoyed. The news brought a wave of complex emotions to King Suddhodana. "Is what I'm hearing true, minister?" the king asked, a profound mix of pride, bewilderment, and perhaps a touch of apprehension in his voice. "My son has become a great leader after all? I'm so proud of him." The king's initial joy was a father's pride in his son's eminence. Yet he still perceived great leadership through a worldly lens of power and influence. However, The king soon received a report that sharply contradicted his royal expectations. "Did you see my son? How is he?" the king eagerly inquired of a returning messenger. "My lord," the messenger replied, his voice tinged with disbelief. "I saw him and his followers carrying wooden bowls, going from door to door in the village, begging for food. Then they returned to where they were staying and ate their simple meal together in silence." "What? A royal prince has become a beggar?" The king was utterly shocked, his pride warring with profound dismay. This was not the return of a Chakravartin, a universal ruler draped in silks and jewels. This was an image of humility and apparent destitution. Immediately, the king, still riding on the waves of his shattered expectations, rode swiftly to the Buddha's dwelling place, determined to confront his son about this seemingly ignoble lifestyle. Upon arrival, the king's regal bearing gave way to paternal concern. "Father, how are you? Please come in." The Buddha greeted him with warmth and respect. Son, how are you?" the king began, his voice laced with concern and bewilderment. "Is it true what I hear? That you beg for your food each morning?" "Yes, father," the Buddha replied calmly, his voice serene. "This is true. It is our custom to beg." "Our custom?" the king retorted, his disbelief evident. "You are a royal prince." "Father, this is true," the Buddha acknowledged, his patience boundless. "But I come from a long line of teachers, the Buddhas of the past. These teachers have always been very humble. They receive their food from the people they meet. When I say it is a custom to beg, I mean it is the custom of Buddhas." The Buddha then, with gentle yet profound clarity, began to preach his teachings, the Dhamma, to his father. King Suddhodana listened quietly, his initial shock and dismay slowly transforming into deep understanding. He listened for a long time, the words of truth gradually dispelling the clouds of his worldly expectations. Finally, with a profound sigh of acceptance and reverence, he spoke, "It is true. You are far more than just my son. I bow before you. Please accept me, who once wanted you to be a king, as one of your disciples." "Very well, father," the Buddha replied, his smile radiant with compassion. Soon afterwards, inspired by the king's transformation and the profound truth of the Dhamma, the Buddha's wife, Yashodhara, his son, Rahula, his aunt Mahaprajapati, who raised him after his mother's death, and many others from the palace also became his devoted followers. "We were so unhappy when you rode away from us so many years ago," they expressed. "But now, you have brought us so much happiness and peace of mind with your teachings of the truth." Buddhist insight. This homecoming is a powerful demonstration of the Buddha's detachment from worldly status and his profound commitment to the Dhamma. The king's initial pride and subsequent shock reveal the pervasive avidya, ignorance, in perceiving true worth through material means. His transformation exemplifies the power of right view, samaditthi, and right speech, samavaka, by the Buddha. The act of begging for food, known as pindapata, is a core monastic practice in Buddhism. It cultivates humility in the monk, detachment from possessions, and provides an opportunity for laypeople to make merit. It breaks down social hierarchies and emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings in a web of giving and receiving. The family's happiness upon reconnecting with the Dhamma highlights that true peace comes not from worldly achievements, but from understanding the truth of suffering and its cessation. This also shows the Buddha's boundless karuna, compassion, extending to his own family, fulfilling his spiritual duties to them by offering the Dhamma, taming the fierce, Angulimala's transformation, compassion against hatred. One hot day, the Buddha set off as usual to beg for food from a nearby village. As he approached, an eerie silence enveloped the air. The streets were deserted, the houses shuttered. "I see something wrong in this village," the Buddha mused. "Absolute silence. The streets are deserted. What is going on? Where is everyone?" He spotted a lone woman hurrying away. "Sister, why is everyone in such a rush?" the Buddha gently inquired. The woman, startled, replied, "Oh, you seem to know nothing. It's that terrible killer, Angulimala. He's roaming the countryside around here. Even the king and his soldiers are afraid to try and catch him. We're going to the city for safety." "Who is this killer Angulimala? Who makes everyone so afraid and unhappy?" the Buddha pondered, a profound compassion stirring within him. "I must go and meet him." Meanwhile, Angulimala was sitting outside his den, A cave in the forest. Gloating over his day's work. He was a fearsome-looking robber. His neck adorned with a grotesque necklace made of human fingers. Fingers from the victims he had brutally murdered. Ha, so far, I have 99 fingers chopped off the hands of people I killed. He cackled to himself. One more finger, and my necklace will be complete. I wonder who will be my next victim. At that very moment, the Buddha appeared, walking slowly, calmly, and serenely towards Angulimala's den. Utterly fearless. How dare he walk past my den? Angulimala roared, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. I'll have one of his fingers to finish off my necklace. That will teach him a lesson. Down he jumped from his perch and began to run furiously after the Buddha. But run as he might, with all his immense strength and ferocity, Angulimala couldn't catch up with the Buddha. The Buddha continued to walk at his unhurried pace. Yet Angulimala, despite sprinting, found the distance between them remained constant, sometimes even seemingly widening. Exhausted, panting, and utterly bewildered, Angulimala finally bellowed, "Stop! Stand still!" The Buddha calmly turned and looked Angulimala directly in the eye, his gaze filled with boundless compassion. "I have stopped," the Buddha said, his voice soft yet resonant with an undeniable power. "I am still. It's you who needs to stop." Angulimala scoffed. "Don't try to fool me. I can see you moving." "Ah, but I meant something else," the Buddha replied gently. "Something else. I have stopped. I am still because I never harm. I never kill. You can't stop. You'll never be still as long as you harm. As long as you kill, your inner turmoil will never cease." No one had ever spoken to Angulimala like this before, not with fear, not with aggression, but with such profound clarity and unshakable calm. "I am a bit worried," Angulimala thought, a flicker of confusion in his fierce eyes. "This man clearly isn't afraid of me." He became even more furious, his ego deeply challenged. "Don't you know who I am?" he roared. "I am Angulimala, the killer with a necklace of fingers. I am the terrible killer. What you need, my friend," the Buddha said, his voice filled with gentle understanding, using the word, friend, a word Angulimala hadn't heard in ages, "is to kill your hate and greed, not people." "Friend?" Angulimala stammered, utterly surprised. "Did you say, friend? No one had called me a friend for a very long time. I don't have friends. What have I been doing? No wonder no one wants to be my friend." A profound realization, a crack in his hardened heart, began to form. The Buddha then extended a compassionate invitation. "Angulimala, why don't you come and live with me and my friends? If you were truly brave, you could make a fresh start. Now that would be a real adventure." "Are you sure this will be an adventure?" Angulimala asked, a strange yearning in his voice. "Oh, yes," the Buddha smiled. "The greatest adventure of your life. The adventure of transformation, of true peace." Overwhelmed by the Buddha's boundless compassion and the sheer power of his presence, Angulimala, the fearsome killer, surrendered. "Then I will stay with you and your friends," he declared. The villagers, who had returned, watched in disbelief as their dreaded killer walked meekly with the Buddha. Among the disciples, Angulimala found acceptance and kindness. "These people are kind," he thought. "They share their food and talk to me very kindly. No one is afraid of me." In the morning, Angulimala, cleansed of his past, threw away his terrible necklace of fingers. He cut off his long hair and beard, symbols of his former life, and put on the same simple robes as the other monks. "I am feeling better," he said, a genuine smile gracing his lips for the first time in years. Thus, Angulimala, the terrible robber, the fearsome adventurer, transformed into a disciple of the great Buddha, on the path of peace and liberation. The Buddha smiled at Angulimala, who smiled back, then got up and went off to help his new friends collect their food for the day. Buddhist insight. The story of Angulimala is one of the most powerful and illustrative narratives of metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion, in action. It directly challenges the notion that hatred can only be conquered by hatred. A principle often summarized by the Dhammapada verse. Hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is an eternal law. The Buddha's unwavering calm in the face of imminent danger demonstrates upekkha, equanimity, and his complete non-attachment to his own life. The seemingly impossible act of stopping Angulimala while walking highlights the Buddha's spiritual power, not magical, but the power of a fully realized mind that transcends physical limitations and affects the minds of others. The stopping is metaphorical. The Buddha has stopped the cycle of harm within himself. Angulimala has not. The Buddha's simple act of calling Angulimala friend and offering acceptance shattered the robber's self-perception and broke his cycle of violence. It shows that even the most hardened hearts can be softened by genuine compassion and the opportunity for redemption. Angulimala's transformation exemplifies the concept of right action, samma kamanta, and right livelihood, samma ajiva, through radical change and the embracing of a wholesome life. It proves the transformative power of the Dhamma, not just for the good, but for all, demonstrating that anyone, regardless of their past, can embark on the path to liberation. Conclusion. The radiance of the Buddha's Dhamma, your path to peace. The stories of the Buddha's life, from his initial sheltered existence to his ultimate enlightenment and his boundless compassion, offer us profound insights into the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. His journey teaches us that true peace is not found by escaping the world, but by transforming our inner relationship to it. The Dhamma, his teachings, provides a practical roadmap for this transformation. Key learnings for your modern life. Dukkha and impermanence, anicca, suffering is inherent in our conditioned existence, and all things are impermanent. Acknowledging this reality, as Siddhartha did with the four sights, is the first step to liberation. Resistance to impermanence amplifies suffering. Lesson. Embrace change. Accept that all things, pleasures, pains, people, are temporary. This acceptance frees you from clinging and reduces the sting of loss. The middle way, Majjhima Patipada. Avoid extremes of indulgence and asceticism. Balance is key to well-being and spiritual progress. Lesson. Seek moderation in all aspects of life. Find a sustainable path in work, leisure, and personal practice that doesn't lead to exhaustion or stagnation. The power of non-attachment, upekkha, true freedom comes from not clinging to desires, outcomes, or even your sense of self. Lesson. Learn to hold things lightly. Enjoy life's gifts without fear of losing them. Recognize that clinging to what is fleeting causes suffering. Compassion, karuna, and loving kindness, metta, these are potent forces for transformation, both within yourself and in your interactions with others. Lesson. Meet anger with kindness, hatred with love, extend understanding and empathy, even to those who seem hostile. This protects your inner peace and can transform situations. As shown with Angulimala, the centrality of inner transformation, the external world provides challenges, but the true source of peace, or suffering, lies within your own mind and how you choose to perceive and react. Lesson. You are the architect of your inner world. Cultivate mindfulness and conscious focus on wholesome states. This empowers you to navigate life's inevitable noises without being disturbed. The Buddha's life is a testament to the idea that anyone, regardless of their background or past deeds, can achieve enlightenment and profound peace. His journey from prince to awakened one, and his interactions with figures like his father and Angulimala, illustrate the universal applicability of the Dhamma. Your life, too, is an unfolding Buddha story. Will you remain caught on the relentless wheel of life, bound by craving and suffering? Or will you, like the Buddha, cultivate the wisdom to understand its workings, find your serene center, detached from its ceaseless turning, and experience true, liberating freedom, right here, right now? The choice, as always, is within your grasp. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What aspect of the Buddha's journey or these teachings resonates most deeply with your personal experience? Share your reflections and insights in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.